Welcome back to The Legal Brief, the show where we crush the various legal myths and misinformation surrounding various areas of the gun world. I'm your host, Adam Kraut, and today we're taking a look at the Sabika Sheikh Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. Prepare to get angry. SB Tactical, the originator of the pistol stabilizing brace, set the bar for innovation and product development in the PDW pistol category. From the insanely popular SB-M4 to the adjustable SB-A3 and even kits for pump-action firearms, SB Tactical braces are available for a wide variety of firearm platforms in fixed, adjustable, and side-folding models. To get 15% off your legally transported and carried pistol braces, use the code TGC15 over at sb-tactical.com. Earlier this year, everyone's favorite Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee introduced the Sabika Sheikh Firearm Licensing and Registration Act. The bill was introduced towards the end of July, and only recently did the text become available. So, what does the bill do? First, it would authorize the Attorney General, through ATF, to establish a system for the licensing of firearms or ammunition, and for the registration of each firearm present in the U.S. with ATF. Yeah, you heard that correctly. She wants every gun in the U.S. to be registered. For the registration system itself, it would require the owners identify the make, model, serial number, date acquired, where the firearm is or will be stored, and identify themselves. I'm sensing that if this somehow were to pass, there'd be a lot of responses about the bottom of a lake somewhere. Owners of firearms would also have to file a notice that specifies the identity of individuals to whom the firearm might be loaned. The AG would be responsible for establishing and maintaining the database of all firearms registered. Even more amusing is that the contents shall be accessible not only to federal and state and local law enforcement, branches of the armed forces, and state and local governments, but also all members of the public. All members of the public. I mean, nothing could possibly go wrong with that. And that's just the registration part. The licensing aspect would require the AG to issue a license to anyone over 21 who passes a NICS check, undergoes a psychological evaluation that concludes they're not psychologically unsuited to possess a firearm, completes a training course that is at least 24 hours long, and demonstrates that they will have in effect an insurance policy. Nothing like adding a licensed psych eval, mandatory training, and insurance to exercise a constitutionally protected right. But hey, who's counting? But it gets better. License types also include those for antique firearms and military-style weapons. The bill also describes the requirements for the psych evaluation, which include, at the discretion of the psychologist, the evaluation of other members of the household. They must also interview the person's spouse, former spouse, or two individuals who are a member of the family, or an associate of the person applying for a license. The bill also includes provisions for the denial, suspension, or revocation of a license. On top of that, for the first 5 years, the license expires yearly, after which it switches to a 3-year renewal cycle. And let's not forget that pesky insurance provision. The bill would require that the AG issue an insurance policy to anyone who has applied for a license and paid the required fee. It'll only cost $800 a year. The poor, right? The bill also prohibits a person from possessing firearms or ammunition unless they're carrying an issued license with the firearm being registered to them. If it's registered to someone else, they better have notified the AG and be within the time period specified. It'd be unlawful to transfer firearm or ammunition to anyone without a license, and if you're giving a gift, you better notify the AG of that too. And you better have that insurance. Penalties for violations range from a fine of $5,000 to $150,000 and from 5 to 25 years imprisonment. And as a final blow, the bill would make it unlawful to possess .50 caliber ammunition and large capacity magazine feeding devices. As you can see, this bill would create a whole host of constitutional concerns. On top of that, it would disproportionately affect the poor. I mean, clearly they don't have a right to self-defense. Now that's something Joe Biden would say. That's it for this episode. If you learned anything from the show, help us out, hit that like button, make sure you share it around with your friends. Don't forget to get subscribed. If you enjoyed the video, consider supporting us via the links down in the video description. And as always, thanks for watching.
You just gonna stand there like a weirdo?
Oh, well, I figured it made sense to grab it first. Welcome back to The Legal Brief, the show where I don't change my shirt. Earlier this year, everyone's favorite Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee introduced the Sabika.
We just did it.
I know.
It's like,
I know. I got it. All right. Major role. Yeah, major role. Earlier this year, everyone's favorite Congress and only recently did the bill text available. Wow.
Available become?
Yes, I got it. No, I got it.
Yep, it's over, but don't worry, you can click on the video up top to watch last week's show, and the one below that is the one that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. Check them out and let me know what you think.